Okay, hello. I'd like to talk about Mr. Armstrong. So, Mr. Armstrong, I love Mr. Armstrong. He's so cool. I don't really agree with 100% everything. Obviously, he doesn't believe in the Trinity. If you've listened to the audio book, the Dragonfly Sutra, the Trinity's like is everything to my beliefs. So Haile Selassie means power of the Trinity and blah blah blah. So it's a and Mr. Armstrong doesn't know the name of God. He doesn't really know what Yahweh means, which is also in the Dragonfly Sutra, and so those are some like the base of everything. So there's like he's the Elijah. Like when we read the New Testament, notice we're not studying the teachings of John the Baptist, but John the Baptist prepares the way. It's obvious he prepared the way for the people of that day, and so they're prepared, and so that's why we have the story of Jesus. So it's like the same thing. Mr. Armstrong, he's exactly what we need. You often see this nowadays. Everybody's so quick to become atheist, which is good, but it's kind of like skipping the steps. It's like in the reality is in life is that everything has been an evolution of growing. Like our past lives and everything. It's all been a process. So like moving on to the next step, which is for there not to be any organized religion, not any priests or anything, because the real church is just inside yourself. To move on to that next step, we need Mr. Armstrong, because to put the Bible behind us, we have to understand what it's saying. Not in a bitter way where you refuse to even read it or even look at it, but in a way, you need to be able to put it in perspective. The Bible's not a bunch of bullshit. Like the story of Noah, for example, it doesn't matter if it happened. It's pretty obvious it didn't happen, at least not like it says. It's embellished quite a bit or just not true altogether, but you know what? That's not that's not how you use that story. The stories are there from the elders of the past so that we can use them, and they're even useful today. You just have to use it right. You get the message, the spirit of the law, not the letter of the law, like Jesus has told us so many times before. So Mr. Armstrong's like that. He teaches us how to put it in the past, and as the Elijah, it always just ends up pointing at Selassie. And so we study the life of Haile Selassie, and then suddenly we know why things are the way they are, why there might be, or hopefully not, a World War III, why things are the way they are, and the people that are less kind of like mature, less developed spiritually, we can appreciate them and not demonize them so much, but just understand where they're coming from. So Mr. Armstrong is a necessary step, very beautiful. You can't really be prepared for who Haile Selassie is without it. Otherwise, you're just kind of doing it to be cool and things like that. Yeah, it's not. The power of Haile Selassie isn't in that it's cool or anything like that. It's because it's what the Bible says. And then when it's the end times, it's the end of the story. The story ends by saying, look at this guy, Haile Selassie, because then we move on without the Bible after that. But yeah, it's written on the tables of our heart at the same time, and we still use it. It's not gone. We don't throw it away. But it just, so that's why it's the end, the end times and the end of the story and all that, because we move on.